All right, so we're just going to start going by, okay, not typing. So we're going to go to Stark County GIS. I mean, there's a bunch of different ways to get to here, but we're just going to go to the hub. And since you guys signed up for the class, you've been here before. So once you get to our hub, Brandon's going to be covering these two later. These are our main two applications here, the basic and advanced parcel viewers. There's information down here about more of what we do and stuff, and different ways to get to different links here throughout this site. I'm not going to cover all of this up here. And there's a bunch of different ways, like, if you clicked on this parcel information, you're going to see some of the same applications that show up, say, under map applications. And there's different ways to get to all of that. But I'm just going to go right to the map applications page here, because this is kind of like our repository for all of our main public applications. You can click on these links up here to go to these individual sections, and they'll just bring you down, here on this page. Most of what you see here, like extract data, it can be accessed in the open data tab as well. Same thing with some of these other ones. Let's see, where is it? I know the history one was here. The historical files download can also be accessed there, and we'll cover both of those. A lot of what you can find in some of these, you can also find in our parcel viewers. So for example, if you wanted to just look at like flood risk, we have this identify flood risk map right here, but you can also do or see some of what you would get in the advanced parcel viewer, which we'll show later. But like Jim, I know you said you were interested in seeing how to identify flood stuff. So this one's you can type in a parcel, and it lets you see that information if it's in a flood zone, and get that FEMA information that way. I don't want to spend too much time on these apps though, because I really want to go in later about the basic and advanced parcel viewers. But I mainly want to focus on our data right now. So our open data section, this is kind of where you can get anything we have available for download. And all of this, everything you see here is anything you can find in this open data section. I think we have like almost 100 data sets that are available. Almost all of that is available on ArcGIS Online as well as web layers, and a lot of this you can also access through REST URL, so you can actually get to our services directly from our servers. It's the best way to find data on here. If you know what you're looking for, you can search. So if you knew you were looking for something like school districts, you could just start typing school, and something like that will show up. By default, you'll be getting a whole county data set if you don't move anything here. So if you were going to go to download, you can see full data set right here. This would get you in either of these formats. So this filtered data set section, you can actually filter one by zooming in and out on the map like this. So you can do like an extent. And then so if you did filtered now, you would get stuff up close. Another way to do filters and to actually see how the data is changing. So like right now it's showing 8 records only. If I was to zoom out, this will refresh and we'll see all of our records. You can also filter by, like, let's say you only wanted to get Canton School District. You can click these little filter buttons on any field here, and this applies to any of the data sets that have attributes like this. You can go up and specify, like, hey, I only want to see Canton, so you can go down and grab one like that, and then it'll only show that one record. And so that's the case with any of the open data that you can see on here. It's especially helpful with something like parcels. If you don't want to grab the whole parcel data set, or like something like addresses, which is really big. These have hundreds of thousands of records for some of these. So it really helps to filter, like you can do like a road name or something, or parcels. You can choose like a municipality, something like that. And all of these are just organized by section. Some of these will show up in multiple sections if they have overlaps. But like I said, the search is pretty much the best way to get started, unless you just want to browse through all of them, in which case you can just click on these and look at what we have to offer. So these links below here, these are data sets that aren't available through this mechanism up here. So these just get downloaded as zip files, as shape files. They're bigger data sets. So things like our right-of-ways, and all of these other components. These are kind of your tax map components that put together the digital tax map that you can download this way. We also provide some external links here that you can get to. These are good data sites that will have information that you can find on this at the state level, also at the federal level, some of these, but they all have good data for the county as well. And then going down here, I'm going to cover this extract data tool. This is for our larger data sets. So if we open this up, this tool allows us to get things like contours, one of those like right away, which isn't available in the other one, and especially aerials as well. There's a little guide section over here. I'm not going to go ahead and actually download anything, but like let's say for a specific property or something, like let's say you were interested in getting something downtown here. I'm just gonna, oops, didn't want to do that. So let's say you wanted like contours and parcels and like an aerial or something. You can come in here, draw whatever shape you want. So like if you wanted an individual property, you could just go ahead and make whatever shape you want that way. And then you can go ahead and choose how you download it. So this way you can get things in GIS form, in a format, or we have a bunch of CAD formats you can pick through to get through, like GWGs downloaded. If there's a aerial as well, you can specify what type of format the aerial is going to be in, and then you run it. It goes a certain amount of time, like there is a timeout limit. So if you pick an area that's too big, it may time out. So you have to make sure you kind of get that area catered to what you want that's within its limits. So that's a good way to get, that's pretty, unless you bring the layer in from ArcGIS Online, this is like the only way to get our contours, at least for a section, to get them to use in some usable format. I mean, we can provide the whole one by specific request, but this is the easiest way to grab it for an area. So going back after this extract data tool, the other one I want to briefly cover is we have this historic download application. And this basically gets us, go back really quick here. This is what's available through here. So we have the current like digital versions of tax maps available, as well as a bunch of historical ones, including survey files. So like if you go through these different tabs, this is how you would download each of them. So for tax maps or something, see if it's showing up. There it goes. It took a sec to load. So I apologize for any slow internet here, but you can click on something like this and this one will load fast. And this way you can get like the actual like digital version of the tax map, which you can also see these layers in our parcel viewer as well, with all of the labels and dimensions and stuff like this. But this way you can get PDFs that you can print out. Same thing for some of these other ones, depending on the area. So like these index maps, like this area in red, nothing's available there. So for like this one, for instance, the townships don't have these indexes available, but you can see the cities and villages do. And so basically, and then like opposite of this one, these maps, these are old maps from earlier last century. that are available if you go and you can click and you just always do this download. One thing really quick about tax maps I want to point out too, when you're going to these, you can actually click this little over area, these little arrows here, and it changes to an aerial version. So if you're to open that, you get a version with an aerial behind it as well. So those can be helpful for if you have to send someone something you don't want to format it. The survey files. This is another useful one that people have a lot of questions on how to get these. So if there's something available for a specific area in here, you can go in here and click. And if you click this button, it's going to give you, like, let's say there's 20 different surveys in there. It's going to give you a folder with everything that is in this section here. But other than that, these are basically the ways to get data, at least through our site, to download for your use in any of those formats we mentioned. So I'm going to let it go over to Brandon. He's going to go more in depth with the capabilities of the parcel viewers. And I know a couple people hopped in while I was talking. So if anyone has questions, like while we're going over stuff, go ahead and just use the little hand raise function in there, or you can type something in the chat and we'll get to that. Otherwise, we'll have questions at the end.
All right. So as Adam mentioned, I'm going to be covering our parcel viewers. And so you can get to them a couple different places. If you're here on our GIS page, you can click here for the basic and here for the advanced. I'll first go over the basic parcel viewer. And this is pretty much, it's a relatively lightweight. It doesn't have a lot of layers in it, but it's pretty fast and will meet most of your needs if you're just looking for some parcel information. So I'm going to search this parcel, which it is for the Stark County Library in downtown Canton. And so you see when you search in the search bar, it'll pull up, if you're searching a parcel number, it'll pull up this pop-up that has your basic parcel information. So it has the address here at the top, parcel number, and it has different parcel information, the classification, land use code, neighborhood ID, tax district. Then it has some owner information, so who the actual owner is. This is owned by Stark County District Library, the owner address, and then it has the mailing name and the mailing address, and then also billing name and address. Then it has some valuation information. If it's a CAUV parcel, it'll have some valuation for that. Then it has taxation for the last billing period. Then it has delinquency. If it was certified delinquent, it would list that allotment information. And then it has information about the previous property inspection and a previous sale. And so on here, if you want to get more information about this parcel, you can click this full property details, and it opens up our Stark County real estate search. So this has, a lot more information. So some of this information will look familiar. We tried to model the pop-up off of what's on this real estate search. So you'll see here, if you want the tax map, you can get to it from this link as well. And then it just has, valuation history. You can find information if it's a residential, or if it's this is the library, so it's a commercial building, so you can see some information about that. And then one thing I will say, if you ever use our real estate search and search for a different parcel, we have this link to the GIS map. So if you click that, it'll take you back to this basic parcel viewer with that pop-up. I'll go ahead and close out of that. So this search is probably the first way you might look for something. You can also search for an address. So I will search for our address here. And So here you can search for an address and it'll just pull up the address. But if you want to click on a parcel, you can then click and it might take a little bit to load, but it'll load with information. And so that's pretty much the parcel layer and the parcel pop-up in here. We do have other layers in here, so you can click this this 3 boxes right under the search, and it's the layer list. So here you can turn on other layers. So here I can turn on the city, villages, and townships boundary. So here it's in the black. We have jurisdictions. So if you want to turn on voting precincts, and one thing you might notice, so to turn these on, this main layer group has to be turned on. And then so these are like sub layers that you can turn on. So I can turn all of these on, or I can turn just a few of these on. So one other thing I wanted to, if we zoom in, we have this tax map land annotation and tax map landlines. And let me make sure both of them are turned on. So this will turn on what you see on like our tax maps, our PDF tax maps. It has the landlines that are colored, and then it has this text in here as well. And so you can turn on just the annotation or just the lines. But that's something else that, if you want to kind of look at what the tax map shows, but just more interactive, this is how you would turn that on. And then if you have questions about what some of these are, you can turn on, right now, since my screen is kind of zoomed in, some of these tools are hidden, but if, we must have gotten rid of the legend. I'm not seeing that. If you expand these, you can see what some of the coloring is. So this in green is the road right of way, blue is property line. So if you expand these, you can see what the symbology is and what it looks like. So I will turn this off. So yeah, so really you can, we have some layers in here, sales, zoning, the contours are in here as well. So if you want to turn those on, you can see them. So if there is not a layer in here that you want to be in here, you can use our add data widget. So when this comes up, we have, I think there's about 90 different layers that we have that we maintain in our organization. So, you can search for something if, it's like parcel related, you could search parcel. And, we had some land bank parcels, sales, market values, foreclosures, just different things. So you can search. And then let's say I wanted to add in these land bank parcels. I think it's hard to see because they're green, but so this got brought in as a land bank parcel. And so you can add it. And then if you want to remove, you just hit remove. And I should note when you do have it in the map, it will show up here in this layer list. So you can turn it on and off. You can also change like the transparency of parcels if you need to make them, more transparent so you see through, less transparent. You can turn on the pop-up. You can view it in an attribute table down here. So different ways to view the data. Let's close that. So some other tools in here that you might find useful, you can measure. So if you need to, maybe get like a rough, distance of something, you can measure and you do one click to place it, double click to release. And then you can change the units. Right now it's in feet. You can change it to miles, kilometers. And similarly, you can do acre or area as well. So if you needed the acres of something, you could, draw out and get, a rough idea of how many acres parcel or couple parcels might be. We have a print tool in here as well. So this takes what you view on your map and will create a PDF, or I think it can do different image types. So, if you wanted to do, 8.5 by 11, you could do that. We have some advanced options if you need to change, different properties of it. And then you can hit print. It'll create a PDF, and then that's, an easy way if you need to, have a map for, imagery or something. You can kind of create one and, mess around with, if you need to zoom in or out, because if you zoom out, this will cover more area, and then when you're zoomed in, it'll cover a smaller area on your map. This base map gallery may be helpful. So right now, I think the 2018 imagery is turned on by default. So if you wanted to go back, you could see 2017, 2015, even go back to 1997. And this is an easy way if you need to, change the imagery, or we do have other base maps in here, more, topographic one, streets, and then this is our personal map that we maintain, that has different parcels symbolized, if it's like a park or school, different things like that, and it has roads and different things. So this is neat. If you don't really like the imagery in the background, you can get a more neutral, or just not imagery background to view, or to print a map. Up here at the top, we have some links. So we do have some help videos for some of these tools. So you can see if, add data, there's a video. So you can click on these and it will go to a YouTube page that you can view, and it has someone that walks through how to use that tool. We also have, I'll skip this for now because I'm going to come back to it. This goes to our extract data application that Adam talked about a little earlier. So if you need, CAD data, whatever, there's a quick link to it to go to that. We have a parcel drafter if you work with deeds and, need to, draw out like what a parcel would be, you can do that. And then we do have a create mailing labels application that you can go into, and you can search for a parcel, and you can select a parcel, create a buffer around it, say maybe like 100 feet, get the names and addresses of everyone in that area. So if you need to, send out mailers or, whatnot, you can do that from this application. So from here, there's a link to our advanced parcel viewer. And the advanced parcel viewer, similar to the basic, but it has a lot more layers in it. So, we just already have some layers in here that if you need to just turn on, they're already in here. So flood hazard areas, wetlands, plat index, survey files are in here. You can just turn it on, and you don't have to add it to your map through that add data tool. It's just already in here. So that's, it's more layers. Can be a little more slower, but it has more to offer. We also have, let me zoom in. We also have this pictometry tool, which is really neat. So when you open it, it'll say, please set a location. So if you click on the map, it will show you oblique imagery that we have. And you can resize this if you need it to be bigger. And so we have oblique imagery. So this is from April of 2018. And you can use these to switch the direction that you're facing. So this is, I think this would be south. if I'm reading that correctly. And you can also go back and view previous imagery. And this select date would allow you, if you wanted to, like, go back to 2011 and, you know, see what it looked like back then. And you also have the option, you can turn on the parcel layer, and it'll draw the parcel boundaries as well as addresses and roads, or I guess roads were already. Oh, this is US parcels that we have in here. This parcels would be our parcel layer. And so you can, you know, see where a boundary is, view this imagery, you know, zoom in. And this, you know, this red box draws on the map and shows you where you're at. So that's really neat if you're wanting to view those oblique imageries. It's an easy tool. Another good feature of the advanced viewer is this pop-up panel. So if you click this on and have it open, when you click on a parcel, that pop-up is going to put it over here rather than on the screen in front of it. So that might be nice if you know, don't want it blocking up your view here. You can put it over there and you can easily, you know, view the information without, you know, having it, you know, obstruct your view of the map. So that's neat. And then you can still cycle through the different pop-ups that are selected. And this also, I mean, this also has a print tool, measurement, and add data in here as well. One thing I'll note, I forgot to mention earlier, so you can add data that we have. You can also add data that is on ArcGIS Online, and that's ArcGIS Online is the software that we use to make these maps, and so there is data that that people have curated, maintained, you know, all throughout the globe that, you know, we may not have personally, but you could add to this map. So you can just search, interested in population. You could search for that and you could see, you know, you get multiple different data sets for population that you might be interested in. And you can, you know, add it to the map. So you can add it to the map. And so this says it's population variables. So if you click on it, you know, so this is showing 6,000 people live in this area, and it shows you the number that are under the age of 18 or over the age of 65. So you can add it. And if you ever have information about where that data is coming from or who is maintaining it, where they got it from, you can hit this details button and it will take you to this page that will give you some information about it, where they got it from. You know, this is authoritative. It's part of the Living Atlas, which the company Esri, who makes the software, maintains a whole bunch of data sets in their Living Atlas, and this kind of tells you it's, you know, going to be updated, going to be maintained, and they'll tell you, you know, it's from the American Community Survey from the Census Bureau, and they have links, so, you know, you can know this is, you know, pretty reliable data. And, you know, you have information about where they got it from and what it's showing. So with that, I pretty much showed everything I was wanting to. So I guess we can just take any questions that anyone has, and kind of, if you want to see anything that we didn't show, mention it now and we can show it or explain more. I cannot hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, is there any possibility on the property sold data you would put in the ability to restrict time frames from and to?
All right, I'll share my screen again. So are you referring to on here where you can filter?
Yes.
Because I think on here you
Oh,
could
wait.
say date from, or we're using a different.
Okay, I was going through Advanced Parcel Viewer, then over to the envelope.
Okay, you were going through this public notification.
Yes.
And we did put sales in here. Is there a way to, I do remember, this being discussed, if there was a way, because I believe when it's downloaded in the data, it shows it in, like
Unique
in second, yeah, and in I forget what the time variable is called, but it's like in milliseconds.
Okay,
So
could you go back? Okay, what you had before that showed the from and to with the calendar.
hmm.
Okay, how do I get to that again?
So this is under our query.
Okay.
We have multiple different queries. One is property sales. And so here you can pick a date. I can go back to the beginning of March until, let's do today. And you can also set a price. And let me set a price because I think it's going to return a lot. Let me do 20,000 to 60,000. See what it returns, and that's 20 to 60. And you can hit this query button. It returned nothing. All right, let me try getting rid of these. See if it is awesome. That's odd. Hold on, let me. There's a chance that this may not be configured properly because sometimes we configure these and the software has updates every once in a while, and it could be that this is not configured properly because there is one thing. So let me go back to the basic parcel viewer because we also have that here. Let me just see if I can. Property transfers. Let me try March 1st to yesterday. I think this one is working. So this one showed, and it's a little, they're in green, and let me change the base map. So here you can see it returned a total of 4,000, and it's showing just 1,000. So this would allow you to search the by date. But Jim, if I recall, were you wanting to be able to search around a certain parcel?
A radius, yes.
Yeah, so I know, so currently that would not be, so using this public notification, and this one we did not. So currently in the advanced, if you use the public notification, you could select property sales. And let me, I can just put a pin on the map and apply a 300-foot buffer, and it has some. So let's download this as a CSV. Okay, yeah, so currently it just shows the time and it's I think it's epoch time. It's the number of seconds since January 1st of 1970, I think. And we had looked at it, and I think we'd have to adjust how the data is stored in our database, because currently it's stored as a date, a date data type, and when this tool exports the data, it is, for whatever reason, turned into that epoch time in number of seconds. And I think we'd have to, we're planning on redoing our sales data anyways in the next coming months. And I think we would probably need to add it in a different data type, so that it would be stored as a date, and when it would come out, it would be in a date format rather than in this epoch time. So yeah, unfortunately, it's not an easy adjustment now, but I think that is something that we would have, in the next 3 to 6 months, whenever we get around to redoing this layer and updating this.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Do you have any other questions?
Run back one more time on the flood map, how to check a parcel.
Okay, I can go ahead and do that. I'm just going to go ahead and actually I wanted the main page here. Oh, let me minimize this. Okay, so yeah, it's only in the advanced viewer. So one way you can do it, if you're just in the advanced one already, is if you go and you turn on this flood hazards area.
Okay.
And let me make sure it's showing up. Maybe it's taking a second to load here. Let me go somewhere where I know there's
Yeah, I do think it does take a little while to draw.
Yeah, that's weird. It's going really slow. So I know this is all. Well, we thought plugging in would fix the internet speed of not being on Wi-Fi, but apparently this is taking a long time to draw. So but this would be the way to see.
Okay.
The layer would show up here. I don't know why it's not drawing, but otherwise, the other one that you can use is this one's really nice. This Identify Flood Risk tool. So this one, what it does is you can go and you can search for a parcel number. Where's the search at? Oh, here it goes. It is going slow. So if I went to like my house, for instance. Unless it's just going to go very, very slow and not work.
I figured you guys would be super fast because of Direct Connect.
Yeah, well, we're in a conference room right now,
Nice.
and we're plugged in too, and it's just moving really slow. We wanted to make, there it goes. We wanted to make sure it was going to load quickly, but this tool, if it would go, yeah, I can zoom to any of these. Then I'll just close this one into like one of these parcels here. No, I think I do actually have to search for it to show up. I do want to show. I think I can do. That's my location. because it'll show different stuff when you do it this way, if it would actually go. But who knows? Well, I'll just describe what it'll do. So if you go into this identify flood risk and you type in a property and you go to it, it'll bring up a pop-up here and it'll show information about the pop-up or about the parcel, but it'll also tell you like what flood zone it is in, and I think it has a link to the FEMA maps maybe, but I'm not positive without it showing up.
Okay.
Oh, there now it okay, is it gonna let me, can I just do this one then? Yeah, I'm really sorry that the that it's not
problem.
loading. But this is our main application out here just to see quickly if something's in a floodplain or not. But yeah, like we said, the advanced viewer here had finally decided to show up. So you can also see on this one. And as soon as I moved, they went away. So yeah, those would be the main two ways to see. And like Brandon said, if you're in another app or something and it has that add data tool, like in this one, so like if you're in the basic viewer, for instance, you could add use the add data and you could find it that way because it's right on top actually, even right there. So you could also bring it in that way if you're in a different map. This one still hasn't decided to load. But yeah, so that's how you do that. Oh, now it's going. Okay, wonderful. Finally. Oh, and it finally brought me over to my property, which now it's not loading. Okay, so yeah, where is the yeah, it does not want to cooperate. And so it's still loading here. But it basically takes like the intersection of this flood layer. So it's going to return the information that comes from this flood zone here and what comes from the property as well.
Okay.
So yeah, I apologize that I can't actually show you.
No
Oh, there
problem.
it goes. Oh, wonderful. Here we go. So yeah, so it shows you which layers intersect with it. And then it provides you a link to the firm panel. And then there's a little bit of information on the parcel there. And then you can get to more FEMA information that way.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Any other questions? All right. Well, if there aren't any other ones, thank you both for the two of you remaining in here for attending.
Thank you both for the information.
Yeah, and if you ever have any other questions, just give us a call and we can help you whenever.
Thank you. This was really helpful.
Oh, I'm glad. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, like I said, for attending. All right. Well, you both have a wonderful day, and I just keep a lookout on our site for we like to do different classes. Like in the future, there'll be different stuff available potentially, and for any updates, and there'll be new maps and stuff like that we include from time to time. So it's always worth checking back on the hub to see what's new.
Okay. Well, thank you and have a great day and a great weekend.
Yeah, you as well. All right, bye.